Jai, welcome to your yoga practice. My name is Sierra and I'm so excited to welcome you into our Feminine Flow yoga series. So this is a really quick series of classes that help you tune in to the energetic shifts that happen throughout the female menstrual cycle. And today we are doing a really juicy restorative and yin yoga class that is centered on the inner winter, or the menstruation part of the menstrual phase. So yin and restorative yoga are much slower, they're much quieter than maybe some of your more traditional vinyasa or hatha yoga styles. So in that regard, it's very closely aligned to the natural energy that comes up for us when we're on our period. And with the poses in this sequence, we're going to not only work on leaning into some of that more meditative, quiet energy, but we're also going to work to alleviate maybe some of the discomfort that often comes when you're PMSing or on your period. But of course, you're more than welcome to take this practice at any time. It would be really lovely to, even if you're just feeling a little bit low energy and need of some nourishment, then this practice will be really great for you too. You know, the menstrual phase can be such a beautiful time. I think we kind of view it as something super negative, almost like a curse nowadays, but it really is a beautiful time of deep inner connection. It is a time of inner quiet and stillness. We're much more reflective and meditative feeling during the menstruation phase, and I think that's something that we can really celebrate and lean into rather than shy away from. Right? Our foremothers were so connected not only to their own internal cycles, but the cycles of nature and the moon outside of them. And I feel like that's something that we've really lost along the way in modern culture, and something that I really want to bring back for us. I think it's such a magical and intuitive way to live, and it's been so therapeutic for me and my mental health, and I'm just really excited to share that with you guys today. So all that sounds well and good, but what does that mean physically for us in our practice? Well, the poses that we're going to do today have two parts. The first part is about opening the front body, alleviating cramps and extra pressure that comes in the abdomen and the front body. And then in the latter portion of the class, we're going to do lots of forward folding, lots of bending, which is really nourishing and really soothing to the nervous system. Kind of will help you lean into that stillness and that quiet a little bit, and also work to soothe some tension or pain that comes in the low back. To get started here, you're going to need a bolster or a big thick pillow, and then 2 blankets and a yoga strap. Right, so restorative yin yoga, we usually need a little bit more props, so make sure that you have ample amount of support nearby. And then when you're ready, let's meet together on your mat. So we're going to start here in Virasana, or just sitting on your heels and your knees, bringing the hands into the lap as you're ready. In whatever position feels comfortable. Sitting up nice and tall through the crown of your head, lifting up out of the hips just a little bit, and then closing your eyes. Good. Begin to soften around your shoulders and your jaw, your forehead, your cheeks here. Just taking a moment of stillness. Drawing your breath all the way down into the base of your belly. And as you exhale, pressing out every last little drop of air. And then inhaling fully again. Exhaling to let it go. And allowing the breath to flow naturally here. Right? No need to force anything. Just leaning into that naturally meditative state that's there for you. And if you like, you can begin to visualize sending your breath out into the far corners of your body. Feel your breath traveling down your belly, across your thighs, out into your toes, maybe even down through the shoulders and the arms, out through the tips of your fingers. And finally, up and out through the crown of your head. Take a moment here at the very beginning of practice and just bring an intention forward. So whatever it is that brought you to your mat today, whatever made you decide to watch this video, take this class for yourself. Right, what brought you here? What are you looking to let go of? What are you looking to cultivate? And just bring that intention to the front of your heart for a moment. And let's take one more deep breath. Softly opening up your eyes. And we'll settle into our first posture. So grabbing your bolster here, let's set it up lengthwise behind you. We're going to come into Supta Baddha Konasana, or supported bound angle pose. And it takes a little bit to set up, but it'll be worth it, I promise. So your bolster comes behind you. Go ahead and grab your 2 blankets, and I want you to roll them up across the short edge. So into little burritos. These blankets are going to support underneath our knees and our thighs. So rolling your blankets up and placing them to either side of your mat when you're ready. Beautiful. And now we're going to take your strap here, maybe unravel it, and then create your loop. If you don't have a strap, you might be able to use an extra long belt, but that might be kind of stretching it. So if you don't have a strap too, that's okay. You can get by without one. What I want you to do then is take another thick pillow and you'll place it on your feet. And I'll remind you of that when we get there. So take your strap through, you put it through both the loops, and then just the second one. And then take your strap, bring it over you, so that it can rest behind your hips here. So you've looped the strap around your torso. The flat edge is around the base of your hips, and come to sit flush against the short edge of your bolster. Good, so now you're going to bring the soles of your feet together, take the other end of your strap, and loop it around your feet. And you can tighten it up. Make sure that the metal part of your strap isn't kind of pulling or digging into your skin anywhere. So kind of get yourself adjusted, tighten it up in a way that feels supportive to you. And then bring your 2 blankets underneath your thighs and your shins so that they're extra supported. So with this version of this pose, we are not aiming to stretch the inner thighs as much as we're trying to open the front body. So I really want you to dig. So with this version of this posture, we're not trying so much to stretch into the inner thighs as much as we're trying to open up the front body. So I really want you to dig those blankets as close to you as you can so that you can fully be supported there. And then when you're ready, let's go ahead and lay on back with the bolster. I told you it would be worth it. I love this pose so much. So laying back across the bolster, and then let your arms stretch out to the sides. Palms relaxing, open towards the ceiling. And then closing the eyes. taking a few breaths to settle into your support. Allowing the breath to come back to that soft and smooth rhythm. Here, I want you to focus on expanding through your body with your breath. So expanding through the body in a subtle way. We're not moving from the posture at all, but rather just allowing our breath to fill up our bodies. Allowing ourselves here to take up space. Right, we're taught so much shame as we're brought up around our womanhood, our femininity, around our moon cycle. And here we're allowing ourselves to take up space. We're allowing ourselves to lean in to the natural divine energy of this time. As you deepen your breath even more here, maybe saying thank you to your body. Honoring her powerful ability to create and to renew here. Maybe bringing some focus into the more subtle areas of the body here now. So the muscles around your face, your cheeks, your jaw, your eyes. Maybe letting the cheeks hang off of the bones, nice and heavy. You can swallow and release the tongue from the roof of your mouth. Relax your jaw. And let your eyes sink back into their sockets. Using your last 3 breaths in this posture here now to open up maybe into your womb, into your divine feminine. Giving her the love and the care that she deserves. And let's flip the palms down. Beginning to slowly press ourselves up by pressing into the elbows, lifting the chin, coming onto the hands, and then all the way up. I know I could stay in that pose probably for the whole class. Let's remove your strap now, set it off to the side. You won't be needing it anymore. And you can release your legs. We're going to come back to that same position with your legs, but we want to bring the bolster around front. Good, so coming into the same position here with your legs, Baddha Konasana or butterfly legs, still with the blankets underneath you. If you need to readjust, then go ahead. But now bringing the bolster in between your legs, resting on your feet. So we're going to fold forward here. So if you need to bring the bolster a little bit closer to you, you can also stack another blanket here on top. What you're going to do is just walk forward gently and begin to fold forward. Now here we want to avoid really an over curving of the low back, right? If you notice yourself kind of dipping into the low back and you lose that natural curve of the lumbar spine, come up just a little bit out of the pose. See if you can find just that little bit of a lift, right? Nothing too intense. And then begin to fold forward again. Right? You might find that you can't come down quite as far. That's okay. We want to protect that sacroiliac joint, that little triangle-shaped space right at the base of the spine. So we avoid just kind of dumping all of our weight into that space. And so once you find a degree of fold that works for you in your low back, then you can release into the top of the spine a little bit. So draw your chin in towards your chest, soften your shoulders away from your ears. And close your eyes. So here I want you to notice the expansion of your back body with your breath. And notice how your ribs float out and back in. You might be feeling a lot of tension in the back body, specifically in the low back. And if so, I just invite you to send your breath to that area of your body. It might feel a bit funny at first, but you can imagine on your inhales that you could fill up the low back around the base of your spine, into your hips, maybe even into your uterus, filling that area with breath. And then as you exhale, invite any tension, any tightness, any pain to flow out on your exhale breath. And they've done studies that these visualizations of healing for the body actually work. And it rewrites the story that our brain tells us. It takes our story of pain and of suffering into one of space and openness. And taking just a few more breaths here in this pose. If you find that you have some more space and maybe can fold forward just a little bit more, then give that to yourself. On your next inhale breath, begin to slowly lift up. Bring the spine back to neutral and pause for just a moment. And you can move your bolster to out in front of you. Draw the knees in towards one another. And set your blankets off to the side. Good. We're going to transition here onto our knees again. So crossing the ankles in front of you. Come back onto your knees. We're going to set up for a supported child's pose. So I'm going to invite you to unroll one of your blankets and place it underneath your shins, just for a little bit of extra cushion. Right? And then if you know child's pose, you know where we're going. But I want you to bring the bolster with you. So take your knees as wide as your mat. Your big toes will come together to touch. And bring the bolster as close to you as you can. So nestle it between your thighs. We're going to lay forward again. You might want to bring that other blanket as a little pillow, or maybe if you want to bring the bolster even closer to you, lying down here, you can take all the support that you need. Laying the belly and the chest down, and then it's your choice, whatever feels most natural in the arms and in the head. So you can take the gaze to one side, letting the hands rest down by you. Or maybe it would feel better to stack the palms and rest the forehead there. Let me just take a moment, find what feels comfortable for you. It's okay if you need to fidget a bit here in the beginning to get settled. But then once you find that position that's comfortable for you, I invite you to find stillness. And let the shoulders drop away from the ears. Allowing your tailbone to fall towards the floor. And if you have your head turned in one direction, lift up just enough so you can switch sides and even things out in the neck for the second half of this pose. And let's take 3 more big full breaths. And as you're ready, flipping the palms down to the ground and slowly pressing up. Walking your shoulders back above your hips. And again, just take a moment to breathe at the top. Wonderful. Let's set your bolster off to the side again. And now swing the legs around to come out in front of you. We're going to extend into the right leg and draw the left leg in towards your thigh for Janu Shirshasana. So we're taking again a more passive version of this pose here in our yin yoga practice. So just open yourself up gently to the right there with the hands pressing against the ground to help lift you up. And then as you exhale, just begin to softly walk your hands towards your knee. So if you find you come to a stopping point, maybe some resistance in the low back or perhaps the back of the knee, feel free to bend into the knee a little bit. You can readjust, maybe open yourself up a bit more to the right there, and then exhale, slowly fold forward. Again, nothing too intense here. I might even invite you to flip the palms open in this version of Janu Shirshasana to invite this energy of receptivity. Remembering that in this version of this pose, we're not really trying to stretch the body so much as we're just trying to give it space. And bring the body into a position where she feels like she can open and breathe just a little bit. Letting the shoulders drop away from your ears again. Relax the jaw if you felt some tension creep back in. Flip the palms back down to the floor. And on an inhale, slowly press yourself back up, walking the hands back in towards your hips. Take a moment, just bring both hands over behind your left hip. Take a really brief counter stretch here, opening up to the left. And exhale, come back. We'll switch sides here. Moving slowly, leaning in to this yin energy. As you're ready, using your hands once again to open yourself up just gently towards the left. Really soft twist here. As you bend into the knees slightly and begin to walk forward once again. Good, and I invite you to be even more gentle with yourself here than you usually are. Palms release, open. Elbows loose, relaxing the back of the neck. So sometimes in postures like these where we may be familiar with a more yang or active version of the pose, it becomes even harder to relax into it a little bit. Right? You might feel yourself yearning to reach and stretch towards your toes, right? Trying to push yourself into the best possible version of this shape that you know. And then while it's not a bad thing to have ambition, there's something to be said for allowing and stepping back. Right? And this is one of, I think, the most beautiful lessons that we can take from our moon cycle, from our time of menstruation. That we're allowed time to step back. There is beauty, there is wisdom, there is grace in that period of stepping back. And then sometimes the more that we resist it, the more pain that we create for ourselves. So in our final 5 breaths here in this pose, I want you to think about just allowing, right? Allowing whatever's showing up for you in your body and in your mind today. Allow it to just be. And give yourself permission to step out of the way. Flip the palms down again, and inhale, slowly start to lift yourself up. Taking a breath at the top, feeling that release on the right side body here. And you can draw your left leg in towards you. And from here, we're setting up into our final pose of relaxation, Shavasana, or deep rest. So I want to invite you to make this pose as juicy and comfortable as possible. So what I'm going to do is bring my bolster for underneath my knees. So place your bolster sideways, and then set your legs on top. No need to bring the soles of the feet together or try to open up the knees anymore. Just allow them to rest on top. I'm gonna fold up one of my blankets for a pillow. And then I'm gonna take my last blanket here and use it for some extra warmth. But you take whatever feels best for you today. Maybe you'd like the bolster lengthwise along your spine again, like we did in the beginning. Maybe you'd like a sandbag for the feet, or an eye pillow for the eyes. Wherever you go, just allow yourself ample space to be as comfortable as you possibly can. And once you arrive, let's take one last deep breath in. Open your mouth and let it go. Arriving in this shape of deep rest and restoration. Allowing once again the eyes to soften back, the cheeks to hang heavy off of the bones. The jaw releases, the shoulders soften, the arms and legs grow heavy. Allow your breathing to just be natural and fluid. Allow yourself to just be here. Take a few moments to deepen into your breath again. Sending soft movement into the fingertips and the toes. Allowing yourself maybe to stretch out nice and long one more time. Taking all the time in the world to roll softly over to one side. And pausing for just a moment. Allowing yourself to press up gently. Finding a seat that's comfortable for you. I invite you to keep the eyes closed for just a few moments longer. And let's bring the hands back to heart center, Anjali Mudra. Allow yourself to come back to whatever intention you found at the beginning of your practice. Noticing if you were able to find or release whatever it is that you had your heart set on. And if you did, that's wonderful. If you didn't, that's also wonderful. And it's all part of the practice. However you show up, whatever happens. It's stepping into this space of allowance, of grace, of non-attachment. That is our divine feminine. I thank you so much for your practice today. Namaste.